Hi, this is Vidya Balan and you're watching Bollywood Hungama.
Well, it's a huge privilege to have one of the finest actresses in the Indian movie industry, that is Vidya Balan of all times, and her movie is coming up, Kahaani 2, and there's tremendous excitement about that. And Durga, I was about to say Durga, but Vidya has been promoting it like as she always does with a lot of passion. Vidya, pleasure having you back on Bollywood Hungama.
Thank you. It's lovely to be back.
And the promos have been getting an extraordinary response. You've been promoting it the way you did for Kahaani. I still remember you came for a meet and greet with Bollywood Hungama, and you came with that prosthetic bump as well. So how's been the experience of just promoting this film so far?
You know, I think we've got a great marketing team, and the first communication of the film was that wanted poster which grabbed everyone's attention.
Right.
And then everything that we did was a follow-up to that. So, you know, this time around I said, we've got such a good team that I'm going to leave it to them to tell me what to do.
Ji.
And they said, you know, why don't we do interviews in your Durga Rani Singh avatar, in a jail cell, handcuffed. And what happens, Faridoon, is when you do things like that, you know, it just makes it more interesting for me.
Sure.
I can play around with the look. I can switch between being the character and myself. So it's interesting for me, for you, for audiences, everyone who's seeing flitting channels and seeing me everywhere talking about the film, talking about Arjun Rampal, talking about Sujoy Ghosh, talking about the plot. So, you know, I enjoy these mad things.
Absolutely.
So I'm actually enjoying promoting the film.
Okay, now as with any sort of mystery movie, there's a tremendous, in terms of it gives you a lot of mystery idea that what exactly is it all about, because there are quite a few paradigms which are taking place, which is positive anyhow. But you know what happens with many a time when you're having a hugely successful film and then you're having like a sequel to that, the sort of expectations which are there, and you'll be minutely just judged by what happened with Kahaani, because it was a phenomenal success at the level of box office as well. Does that scare you?
You know, firstly, this is not a sequel. You figured that from the trailer. It's a completely different story, with different characters and all that. No, you know, Sujoy tried writing Kahaani 2 immediately after Kahaani because Kahaani was so successful. But both of us couldn't decide on any one subject. And I think at that point we felt like, you know, how are we ever going to better this?
Ji.
Then we ended up deciding to do another film, which didn't happen. That film was called Durga Rani Singh, as a matter of fact. Then last year he came to me and said, you know, there's this idea I had shared with you after Kahaani, which I've now written into a script. I want you to read it because I think it could be Kahaani 2. And I said, you know, why are you doing this? Let's just call it something else. Even before I read it, he said, read it and then we'll discuss it.
Correct.
When I read it, I felt this is worthy of being called Kahaani 2. So then I felt compelled to tell the story. I was excited to play this character. And I keep saying, you know, as a joke that it's Kahaani 2. So there are two faces of me in this film.
Correct.
There's Durga Rani Singh and there's Vidya Sinha. So there's so much more to play with. And I said, you know, if there was ever a film that deserved to be called Kahaani 2, it has to be this one. So we decided that, and we decided at that time that we're not going to try and better Kahaani. We're not going to try and even, you know, try and tell ourselves that we have to make a film as good as Kahaani. We are making a film that's a completely different story. So we're treating it as a fresh film. And in essence, it deserves to be Kahaani 2. That's what it is. So it's not a sequel, and yet it's a Kahaani 2. And that, I think, really helped us, you know, get rid of all those pressures. Before the trailer launch, Sujoy was like, you know, I'm suddenly feeling nervous because people expect so much. And I said, you know, it's too late in the day now. The film is done. The trailer is going to be out tomorrow. But let's wait and watch, see what happens. The trailer was so well cut that people bought into this story. You know, they stopped comparing this to Kahaani. They're seeing it as a separate entity now, which I think is very, very positive. Beyond that, you know, some comparisons will be,
absolutely,
you know, unnatural because people. But I'm saying I'm taking all those expectations very positively, saying, you know, thanks to Kahaani, people were more interested in Kahaani 2, and now after the trailer, they're even more interested. So let's leverage that interest, but don't get pressurized by it.
Now, Kahani is one film that personally I loved it. I actually went to Kolkata. I interviewed Shashwata Chatterjee.
Really?
Seriously. Just for that interview, we went to
Wow.
Kolkata and we interviewed Parambrata as well. Yeah. You know, the fact is, आप बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हैं that it is not a sequel in the conventional sense of the word, but still, considering the name Kahani is attached and it's like a franchise, people would have those moments that the surprise value, the tremendous surprise value that was there when at the end of it you just take out that prosthetic boom and just plant that nail in the in the feet. Now it had a superb moment to it. People used to erupt in the theaters. I'm sure that maybe you must have been there as well. Then coming to like a villain like Bob Biswas, for example, then having those undercurrents of romance with the with the police guy.
Bagchi, yeah.
Yeah. So those are things which are, I'm sure that as a viewer they are very very fresh in my mind. I'm sure that there must be other people as well.
No, it's wonderful
Does
that
that-
4.5 years down the line,
Right.
people are still talking about Kahaani. But I'm saying, we've told a different story. And
Ji.
unless we made this film because we felt compelled to tell the story,
Ji.
we wouldn't have been able to do our best. If we made a film to better Kahaani, हम फिल्म ही नहीं बना पाते. तो अब बन गई ये फिल्म. जो है अलग फिल्म है तो twists and turns हैं वो सब है पर I'm not comparing it with Kahaani. I know audiences will tend to, but having said that, at least now they've bought into this other story that's being told.
No, absolutely.
They're willing to and excited to watch this other story.
No,
even
absolutely.
though it's not the story.
Promo is
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah.
Promo is
But,
absolutely brilliant. There's not-
beyond that, Faridoon, it's really, I don't know what to say, but I honestly am feeling no pressure.
That's great, actually.
Yeah.
That is great.
Because I really am happy with the film. I believe in the film. And I think that's all one can do,
No, sure. What was also unique about Kahaani was that considering it was based in Kolkata and it is having a somewhat, it's about a woman and it's not like really like a hip sort of film,
Yeah.
catering to the
Very
youth.
rooted.
But the background score was very rocking
Yeah.
actually.
Zesty.
It was very zesty actually, which was like a contrast in a way,
Yeah.
and that really appeals as well,
Yeah.
and which I think seems to be the case in Kahaani too as
No,
well.
also I think
at
in
many
a
junctures.
suspense thriller, you need that.
Ji.
You need that to keep it tight and taut and pacey. And I'm someone who's very restless and impatient. So which is why I can't ever see a film until it's complete and ready.
Ji.
So if you show it to me without sound, if you show it to me without a background score and all, I'll faint. Even if it's my own film and I know what it's... Because all of that comes together to tell a story. And especially in a suspense thriller, music is very, very,
No, absolutely.
very crucial.
Absolutely.
And like you said, I think that's also Shujoy, he brings that certain amount of restlessness to the film through the music. And Clinton's done a great job.
Which worked brilliantly in Kahaani in
Yeah,
terms of restlessness, what you're mentioning, because as a viewer, you always had a surprise value,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
was something which was amazing. And then I think it was a journey in terms of Kolkata, the way he just took to it.
This time we've expanded the horizon and taken it to different parts of West Bengal. So there's
Right.
Kolkata, but there's also Kalimpong and Chandanagar.
Right.
So it's interesting because, the different places are, I think, reflective of different phases of her life.
Jay. No, absolutely. Now, this is a very interesting phase as far as women-centric films is concerned. Especially this year, we've had like a Neerja, we've had Pink, which has done exceptionally well. We've had Dear Zindagi, which has just opened and it is doing like really, really well as well. Does that, the interesting part is that all these films, they've started on a certain level, but it's a word of mouth that has worked brilliantly for them, which is exactly the case with Kahaani as well. Because somehow people start becoming associated with the story. They start living that that ambience which a story is trying to portray. Do you find that a good part? Do you find that something that encouraging in a way?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the kind of subjects...
And they've done very well at the box office.
Yeah,
all of them.
but the kind of subjects that are being offered to us as female actors,
Ji.
I think it's really very challenging and exciting. And the fact that these films are working means that you'll pump in more money and more of these films will be made, more of these stories will be told. I think it's a very hopeful time for us.
Now, I asked you during the Begum Jan interaction, but unfortunately that interview hasn't been out yet because it is under embargo. But still, I'll ask you now. You were asked at the promo launch as well, that you were compared to Amir Khan at a few years back, but then somehow maybe a few films don't work, and then that entire thing just returns. But you've always been confident, you've always enjoyed your promotions, which is something really heartening as well. But is it there in the back of your mind? Because as we had discussed during the Begum Jan interaction, you've seen a lot of ups and downs, rather downs at the beginning of your career.
Yeah,
Many of your films, they started and they did not never completed.
down south.
So I think a lot of people may not be aware of it. Almost like 11, 12 films.
Yeah, two of my films started and then stopped midway.
Ji.
And then I was thrown out of a Tamil film. And then there were many other films that I was signed for. And when I say signed, it's a verbal commitment, because down south, at least at that time, 10 years ago, they weren't really signing contracts or anything.
Ji.
So verbal commitments which they went back on, and I was left, with absolutely no films, no explanation, nothing. So that was one phase. And then of course I did a Bengali film, and then the Hindi film started, and I, thankfully, overnight my life changed, and people were talking about me as an actor. I started getting wonderful opportunities to work with all the people I'd looked up to, and it just kept growing. Ups and downs, successes and failures are part of life. It's never easy, especially when you're going through it. On a Friday when a film doesn't do well, it's heartbreaking. You wait until Sunday and you're hoping it gets better and better and better, but somewhere deep down, the verdict is out.
Ji.
And you'll have all put in so much into the film. I think it even becomes difficult to meet each other after that for a while, because you almost feel like you've let people down. Maybe, they are feeling the same way. It just becomes like, after a breakup, it's like meeting your partner's best friends, or family, or it's a very uncomfortable situation. So I go through all of that, but I'm someone who likes to deal with it. So I talk it out, I vent, I give vent to my anger with Siddharth, with my family, I cry. I remember when Hamari Adhuri Kahani didn't work, I waited till Sunday. When I realized that it's not changing, I just had such an outburst. I cried like, something had, a part of me had died. It's very heartbreaking. And especially after seeing the kind of high that I did, 5 films back to back, commercial and critical successes. And then suddenly 4 films in a row not working. It's terrible, but then I get it out of my system. That's the only way I can move on. And the only thing really I've realized, I think this phase has taught me, is that one has to keep working. So there will be things that work and there will be things that don't work. But nothing's ever the end of the road.
Right. There was quite a bit of criticism for Hamari Adhuri Kahani, that maybe it was like a regressive character as far as women are concerned. Considering that you've played some really dynamic, female-centric characters. Do you regret that in a way?
No, I don't, because for me, empowerment is very, very relative. What I see as empowerment cannot be compared to what a woman in a village, in a very different environment feels. Because for her, maybe empowerment is not standing up every time the man, the head of the family, walks up into the room. For me, it's asking for what for example, negotiating a price that I think is deservedly mine on a film, or something like that. So it's very different in different contexts. It's very relative. In the case of Vasudha, where she was coming from, I think what she did, leaving her husband, going away, and finally telling him to his face that he was actually a coward, was empowering for her. You can't measure everything by the same yardstick. When people said this, I did go through some amount of confusion, because initially, before I said yes to the film, I had the same feedback to Bhatt Saab. But then with conversations, during the course of filming, or rather before we started shooting, I had these conversations with him which made me understand exactly this point. So when the film released and people said, it's regressive, I said, okay, that I was expecting. But still, I thought about it, and I then realized that no, I know why I did the film.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure,
so,
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. So no
Now,
regrets.
Yeah. So in fact, Vidya, we've known you for a long time. We've had some really amazing interviews with you. In fact, I still remember the interview that we did for Dirty in fact, picture.
Yeah.
It was the sort of response that we got for it, and the sort of headlines that you gave us was amazing actually. Now, what has been a bit of a dichotomy. I've asked you this earlier as well, maybe in a different context. That many a times, be it like a coffee with Karan or be it film award functions, you come up with some amazing one-liners and wacky one-liners, and they can be controversial as well.
Yeah.
And you love to, in fact, maybe come up with such one-liners as well. But mostly, your filmography has been of films which are like serious in a way. Even Dirty Picture, I think it becomes very serious by the second half of it. Do you think that there's a bit of a contrast that the sort of entertainment that you can possibly bring? I still remember for Vicky, the way you just danced with Shah Rukh and
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman was something. It was hugely entertaining actually. I don't know how many actresses can do that at a spur of a moment. Do you think that there's a bit of a dichotomy in a way, and we should see that entertaining aspect of
I'd love
Vidya Balan,
for someone to tap into that side of me.
Ji.
I am an intense actor. I like complicated roles, and I get drawn to these kind of scripts. So I think those scripts also get drawn to me, and that's how it's happened. This marriage has happened.
Ji.
And I'm enjoying the kind of films I'm doing because it really delves into complicated human behavior. It's trying to decode complicated human behavior, telling different kinds of stories. I get to know different kinds of people through my films, through my characters. But having said that, I'd love for someone to tap into the real me.
Aspect,
but the way the role of the heroine is structured in the regular Bollywood or Hindi in Hindi films makes me uncomfortable. I feel it's got no substance. Whereas I am someone I'm just, I think I veer towards substance. I need substance. I need something to chew, to bite into. And yet that can be fun and entertaining,
Sure.
So I'd love a balance like that.
Yep. I've asked you this before as well. I'll maybe once again ask, and I hope that someone watches this, the sort of chemistry that you share with Shah Rukh Khan, for example, in award shows. It is crackling actually.
Right.
It is the way you guys complement each other.
Right.
Like a really nice love story between Shah Rukh Khan and Vidya Balan on screen. I think will be something worth watching out
since my first year in films, there has been at least one poll. I've stopped reading, so I don't know anymore. But invariably, at least one poll is shown to me annually, saying people want to see Shah Rukh and me together.
Absolutely.
But no one's offering me those films, so I don't know what to do. Because I think, he's a king of romance.
Right.
And I'd love to do a true blue, romantic, nice relationship story, but that's not yet happened. I wonder why.
That's true. I hope it happens because I think it'll be really the dialogues flowing and the subtle sense of humor. I think should be really interesting.
Right.
Okay. Now Shabana Azmi ji has said that she would want maybe that you can do theatre. Is this something that you'd like to explore?
No, I can't even begin to tell you how thrilled I was when I was told what Shabana ji said. I've always deeply, deeply admired her since college, but theatre is something I don't think I'll ever end up doing. Never say never, but in front of a live audience like that, I think I'd forget all my lines. Doesn't matter how much preparation I put in. I need the security of a retake. Even if you told me that the sun is going down and you're not going to get a retake, be sure I'll mess up that take.
Wow.
It's just that pressure that people keep telling me, but no, you'll have enough rehearsals and it's not that daunting. You'll actually begin to enjoy it. Siddharth himself has done theatre. He's done a lot of English theatre.
Right.
And he keeps telling me the thrill of a live audience is incomparable. But I don't know. I'm just...
Right. Talking about Mr. Siddharth Roy Kapoor, I was just reading a few of the interviews, and you come up with very interesting answers whenever rumors of your
Right.
maybe some trouble in the paradise
Right,
sort of
right,
stories.
right.
How do you come up with such interesting answers? Maybe
I don't know, because you know,
like-
Faridoon, I find it really funny.
Right.
For example,
You said that maybe we don't take that many selfies on Twitter. So
yeah, exactly. You know, because last year at a time when I was actually at home because I had taken this break to, address my health issues, we were spending so much time together, and that was a time when the rumors began to surface, and I was like, you know, at least if we were in two different continents and we were not getting to meet that much and people were concocting such stories, I would still understand it. So I find it damn funny. I guess I'll find it funny. I find it funny because there's no trouble, touch wood.
Correct.
If there was, it would bother me. Initially, it bothered me because I said, why are you saying something about my marriage? That's sacrosanct. But then it became like the pregnancy rumor. Yeah? Now I can't take it seriously.
And apparently you like to call him by the last movie that you guys have seen together.
Yeah.
Some Italian, I think Zampoon or something.
No, but I keep every week it's a new name.
It's a new name. Okay.
So, I love changing his name. Because there are so many pet names that Siddharth has that there's no unique name that I can call him by. So I've decided that any character I like, I call him by that name.
Great. Vidya, you're an expert at that. Rapid fire, you come up with like really interesting answers. So let's play rapid fire with Vidya Balan.
Okay.
Season B, aajkal, in
I'm
fact.
suddenly nervous.
No, don't worry. Okay, how can you define Kahaani 2 in one word?
Two-faced.
Two-faced. All right. If you're going out on a movie date with Mr. Siddharth Roy Kapoor, which genre of film you'd like to watch with him?
A drama or a relationship story.
Drama or a relationship story?
Or even a thriller.
Okay, if you can explain in 5 words why Kahaani 2 will better the prequel.
Because it's Kahaani 2. So twice over.
Alright, a Kahaani or dirty picture, a film of yours you recommend everyone to watch it once.
Kahaani, because it can be watched universally even by kids. Whereas dirty picture, you need to be a certain age.
What is the turning point of your career?
I think my first film, Parinita.
Ah.
That has to be the beginning and the turning point and everything.
Absolutely. A thriller from Hollywood you think should be remade in Bollywood, and who from Bollywood will be a perfect fit for the lead in that film?
I think Sixth Sense. I don't think it should be remade, but I'd love to do a Sixth Sense.
Okay. If a biopic is made on your life, which actor would be an apt choice to play the role of Mr. Siddharth Roy Kapoor?
Oh my God! I think considering he's an actor himself, maybe he can do it.
He can do it himself?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, so that is pretty good. Vidya, we've taken a few questions from your fans as well.
Right.
So let's take a few fan questions. This is Shaima from Algeria. What is your next project after Kahaani 2?
Hi, Shaima. My next film is called Begum Jaan. It releases on the 17th March and it's a period film. It's a historical. So I can't talk about it more than what I've said at the moment because I'm promoting Kahaani 2.
But do you feel that, considering that it's a story based on a brothel on the India-Pakistan border, and considering the sort of things that we've seen in the recent past, do you feel that there can be some sort of resistance maybe
No, I
to
don't
the
think
movie?
so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. Because it is fictional. And actually that thought never struck me. Because reading it, I didn't find anything offensive or wrong.
You're right.
Not that, everything that's been altered or banned has been offensive or wrong, but
Correct.
I never thought of that.
Sure.
I don't think it should be a problem.
Okay. This is Shreyoshi from Madhya Pradesh. When will you work with Aditya Roy Kapoor?
Hi Shreyoshi, I don't know if I'll ever work with Aditya Roy Kapoor, honestly, because there has to be a script that brings both of us together, but it would be a bit odd to work with family, I think. Nah?
Bit odd to work with family.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, but as actors, I'm sure that you can put that aside and maybe.
I don't know. It depends on what kind of roles we get offered.
Great. All right, this is Hanita from Myanmar. You work with so many actors. Do you have any favorites?
Hi. I think Sanjay Dutt is my all-time favorite. He's just all heart. I love Sanjay Dutt.
Okay. All right. This is Shreya from Lucknow. You are such a versatile actress. Which actress you think can be next Vidya Balan and why?
Hi. I don't think there's need for another Vidya Balan for another 50 years at least. But I like Alia Bhatt. I really like her.
All right. This is Rahul from Mumbai. If Vidya Balan wants to work with any Khans, she will choose which one of them?
I think that's very difficult a question. You know, since we spoke about Shah Rukh Khan, I think
Shah Rukh Khan. All right.
You know, I think I'd most easily fit into a romantic film rather than the kind of films that I don't know actually.
Okay, this is Mehul Gupta from New Delhi. Hi, ma'am. Which food is your favorite?
Hi, Mehul. Home cooked food, South Indian food, but also just home cooked food. I think I love it. And masala dosa anytime.
That's a South Indian.
Yeah.
All right, this is इसमें नाम नहीं. I am Ray AVKG. All right, how did you felt after knowing about your character in Kahaani 2? What is your first reaction when you heard about the character in Kahaani 2?
Hi, I was thrilled when I read my character in Kahaani 2 because I love complicated people. I love unseemingly complicated people, and Durga Rani Singh is just that.
Great. This is Mihir from Anand, Gujarat. आपने कहानी क्यों की? This is an interesting question. आपने कहानी क्यों की? इसलिए कि उसमें कहानी है या जज्बात है?
क्या बात है. Hi मेहुल. मेहुल, right?
मिहिर.
मिहिर. Hi मिहिर. ये बहुत ही अच्छा सवाल किया आपने. I think कहानी के जज्बात मुझे बहुत अच्छे लगे. उस वजह से मैंने कहानी की.
क्या बात. Diljot from Toronto, Canada. Will we be able to see you in a film with Ranbir anytime soon? You also said somewhere that
hi Diljot.
really...
Ranbir मुझे बहुत पसंद है बतौर actor, so I hope there's a script that brings us both together.
Okay, this is IMSBS. अगर SRK से काम करने का मौका मिला तो क्या आप करेंगी? That's you've already mentioned that. This is Burhan from Talagang, Pakistan. So this is Saurabh Leela. If you can have one word for Rani Mukherjee, this is Saurabh Leela from Delhi.
Hi Saurabh. One word for Rani Mukherjee would be what is that word? She's a sutli bum. You know?
Sutli bum.
Yeah, okay. Because in a small packet, she's like dhamaka.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true. Okay, this is the last question. This is interesting as well. This is Tanuj from Delhi. What was that one thing in Kahaani 2 because of which you agreed to do the film? What was that one thing that made you agree to do the film?
Hi, the Kahaani of Kahaani 2 is what made me agree to do the film.
Great. Now, finally, I think your entire relationship with the little kid, I think, is something that can be one of the highlights of the film as well. And you also mentioned that the most shocking, I think, episode for you was when she had to fall down.
She had to jump off.
When she had to jump off. So how was the experience of working with the kid?
She's a wonderful kid, a wonderful actor, and of course adorable, you know, just as any kid is. But I knew this was in the script. I knew we were shooting this scene that particular day. But when I went on set and rehearsed with her, I don't know what came over me. You know, I couldn't bear the thought that a 6-year-old was going to jump off. She was safe, she was protected, it was all taken care of. It was just, you know, it's not what it looks like. The way we shoot it is very different, but yet it took a lot of calming down before I could do the scene. I don't know, just the thought that a child should need to jump off.
Definitely. And what about Kamala Das biopic? What is the latest in that?
I start working on Army next month, 2 weeks after Kahaani 2. And hopefully in those last 2 weeks, I hope to brush up my Malayalam and make it perfect. I've been working on it, but now because of promotions, there's been a bit of a break.
Right. And that's going to be like a bit of a controversial thing as well because of the sort of life that she lived, and
she was so
very
unpredictable. she was so unpredictable because you just, um, she wrote very openly about sexuality, about women's desires, about their hopes and their aspirations and their dreams and their bodies. But a lot of people say that she did it more to shock readers.
Ji.
And she made it seem like it was actually her, all of those were her personal experiences. So I'm actually trying to explore who she really was.
Right. So what sort of preparation? Are you reading her?
I've finished her autobiography. I'm reading some of her poetry, and the Malayalam practice is going on.
Malayalam practice going on as well. Fantastic. So Vidya Balan, as always, a huge pleasure having you.
Thank you,
lovely
Faridoon.
talking to you, and looking forward to Kahaani 2 eagerly.
Thank you.
And we hope that it's like as good as it looking like, maybe better. And
Inshallah.
hopefully, एक national award फिर से बनता है. I think it's like it's
Yes.
been a while. So it looks like that. It looks very, very interesting. So thank you very much, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's all we have from Bollywood Hungama. Keep on watching.